Welcome to the Blueprint for Failure podcast.
This is it, Dan. Another episode. This is the BFF podcast, right?
We're best friends.
Yeah.
Forever.
Blueprint for Failure. This podcast is all about like mistakes people have made, things people have messed up on, things we can learn from.
Right.
This episode is a little wild. We're gonna call it "How Not to Start a Fire."
Yeah. I like this one. I found lots of stories.
Oh, cool. Okay,
this is
good.
not like the last one we did, or the one before this one, actually, the space one, where it was hard to find things. This one, there was people. It's easy to start a fire by accident.
Yeah, man. People are crazy, and I got some cool stories just about things that like you didn't realize was going to start a fire. You know?
Yeah. I have some of those facts too.
What do you want to start on? What's your you go first. What story you got?
Okay. My first story is something that I bet a lot of people know about because it's kind of a low-hanging fruit story.
Okay.
But it's something that I think should be talked about. You probably heard about these, the gender reveal parties.
You
didn't research any of those?
No, we did a gender reveal.
Yeah, you had a party, right? I was there, I think.
I don't know if we did a party for. No, I don't think we had a party because it was like it was COVID stuff. So then we just did like a photo shoot.
Right.
And we.
Did you have an explosive?
Yeah, I don't think it was an explosive though. But no, it was like a thing you pull like a string out of.
Oh, the smoke bomb.
Smoke bomb. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are doing nowadays. Some people have having issues with those, but this one in particular was a little bit of a more extreme version of that.
Okay.
This was in April 2017. It was in Arizona. An expectant father decided to go a more gun route with this type of gender reveal. So what they did was they put in kind of like a smoke bomb, except this one had tannerite in it.
Oh, okay.
And
that goes boom.
I wasn't too familiar with that but apparently it's a like explosive.
Yeah.
So they put, of course, the gender, the blue. I believe it was blue actually.
Okay.
And they had the man, the father. He had his rifle out.
Yeah.
You know, they were miles away.
Yeah.
And the whole family was standing by him. And when they shot the explosive, it actually caught fire. It was, of course, a hot, dry day. And
I feel like I heard about this.
Well, that's funny because it's known as, in the video, one of the guys says, "It's time to pack it up and head out."
Start packing up!
No.
Yeah.
Because once they see how big the fire is getting immediately after the explosive, there's a video about this, of course. They posted everything.
Wow.
This went on to burn 47,000 acres.
Whoa.
I think it was like, here it is, $8 million worth of property damage.
What happened to them then? Did they say?
Yeah, he got
charged.
He got fined $100,000 immediately.
Yeah.
And he has to make payments.
Wow.
For the rest of the 8 million.
Yeah.
Like basically 7 million, 100,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so don't fire explosives with tannerite in it. Do you know much about tannerite? What do you know?
There's a guy I work with that we work with that uses tannerite. They go every year and blow up their Christmas tree with it. So he's got like a bunch of property in the back, and they like get some tannerite in there, and they set up the Christmas tree and then shoot it, and then the Christmas tree lights on fire and everything. And
wow! Hopefully they don't start a fire one day.
There's one video of, I think it's a fridge. It must be a fridge because there's like a guy kind of hanging out behind this tree, and he fills his fridge with tannerite, shoots the fridge, and then the door like flies off and like just misses him.
I did see that video. I didn't know. So that's tannerite.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a terrible idea then to use for
super explosive.
A really hot, dry Arizona day.
Yeah, go boom real quick.
Yeah. So what do you got?
I got a game. Let's do a game.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 3 scenarios. 2 of them are false. 1 of them's true. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
You might have saw these stories. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the first story. Gorilla steals a lighter from a zoo patron and burns down enclosure. Okay. Pigeon drops a discarded lit cigarette down a chimney, starting a fire in a bird's nest.
Mm-hmm.
Or a gopher steals a lit candle, drags it into his hole, and creates an underground fire.
Wow, those are tough.
Yeah. 1 of those is true. 2 of them I just made up. Like, it's possible they could be true, but
this is a fun segment. I enjoy this. I'm going with the second one, the pigeon.
Pigeon. Yeah, it is.
It's the true one?
Yeah.
No way.
It. Yeah.
I didn't research that story.
This one is I couldn't find a ton of info on it, but it's a story out of Europe somewhere, and pigeon dragging lit cigarette down this chimney, and it started a fire in this bird's nest, and boom.
A bird's nest in the chimney?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
So he must have I'm assuming
sabotage other bird.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
This is war, obviously.
He's burning down his buddy's nest there or something.
The aim this bird must have had,
Yeah.
Trajectory and
okay,
release.
But homing pigeon or something maybe.
It's a pyromaniac pigeon.
Right. Yeah.
Pyro pigeon. That's what we gotta call it.
Pyro pigeon.
Oh my.
Okay, here's I got one more.
Okay. Another game? Same game?
Same game.
Oh wow.
Three stories. One of them's true. Teen's hair starts on fire after having glasses perched on his head.
Okay.
Teen accidentally burns down school while lighting his farts on fire.
What's up with these teens?
These are all teens.
These are all teen stories.
Teenage boy on his first date sprays a can of deodorant on himself, then lights what remains in the can, causing an explosion.
Okay, well if that one isn't true, the third one, then it if you just made that up, it's definitely true somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the first one, the glasses.
Glasses. That would be wild, eh? You'd have to. So when I was looking stuff up like that, it's like a fire won't usually start on just like a window, like the sun going through a window or a glass. Right. But if the glass is like broken in a certain, it's got to be pretty much perfect and the sun's got to hit the right angle and everything. But there are stories where sun has shone off a broken window, lit a house on fire. Mm-hmm. So no, that one's wrong. It's not that one.
Oh, okay.
It is the last one, the deodorant. One.
Yeah.
I did that stuff all the time with Axe body spray, burning stuff. I have a mark on me that's from a fire that I lit this, like I was in my bedroom, my house, like I was 15 or 16 and I had like tape hanging from the ceiling for some reason.
Nice.
And I was like burning it with this like, I was making like Axe body spray. You hold a lighter up and it goes.
Oh yeah. Everybody loves that.
And I got it on my side and it like burnt, like I still got the scar. Like this, see the scar right
wow.
there? Yeah.
Show the camera.
That's like...
Just stand up. Yeah, I'll zoom in. Wow.
That's like...
that's a burn scar.
That's a burn scar from...
Second degree?
16 years ago. Probably third degree. I don't know.
Wow.
I never told anyone.
I think that's the only reason people buy Axe nowadays.
To light it on fire?
To light it on fire.
Yeah, probably. We used to spray the Axe. I remember we had like these old like dog dishes, and you'd spray the Axe in the dog dish and like make like a little cloud and then light it,
and it'd be like a little explosion, right? It'd like fly up. And what color? It was like blue, probably.
Always blue.
Yeah, always blue.
And then we would do this, like my parents would usually be gone, but then just the smell of Axe like would like be everywhere. Axe. Oh man, it's so nasty.
I actually did that at a fire I had with some buddies back in like junior high.
Yeah,
the fire was in a pit and we brought the Axe out. I think I showed everybody actually. I was like, let's check this out. I'm like the dumbass there, of course. And I just you start it and then you bring it into the fire and you take it out of the fire.
Yeah,
right. You don't want to go into the fire, start it. I'd always start it outside.
Yeah, because you don't want the fire going back into the bottle.
Because people always said it's a compressed gas, so it could always have like an explosion, which of course as a teenager you don't care. You don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it can.
Definitely.
Yeah, but
that's what happened with this guy. True story.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the teenage boy.
He lit his hand on fire?
Well, the can exploded. It sounded like he was fine after it. It was like the story surrounding it was like he was real shook up, but still managed to go on his date anyways. Like, all right, geez, who's writing this?
They didn't say how bad the explosion was, hey?
No, just that it exploded. But
that's crazy.
So this was all. I'll post this article up there too. This is from the independent.ie. There was a couple other like real crazy stories that I found those two from. Another one was someone dropped a toilet paper roll in the toilet.
Normal.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever. And then they put it in a microwave to dry it out, and that started on fire.
But like that was just a small fire in the microwave, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
There's a dog. He hit the controls. He was trying to get on like the countertop to get some food, and he hit the controls on the toaster, and there was like a bag above the toaster, and started the bag on fire.
Wow.
Burned up the kitchen.
That's crazy.
Fridge freezer got on fire after. This is kind of like in our realm, kind of. He shorted out the electrical stuff in the back of the fridge, or the freezer,
so
and that started the fire. Yeah.
Because below in the fridge there's like that insulation stuff.
Yeah. So
it must have caught that on fire.
Yeah.
Because insulation, funny enough, is flammable.
It'll go.
It'll go for sure. Go boom.
That'll be like when we talk about fires, we're both electricians.
That's right.
They say like electrical fires are like some of the most super hard to put out because you can't just put water on them.
Yeah, and there's actually a specific what's called extinguisher you got to get.
Yeah. Which class is that? Class C, maybe?
I think it's C or D. Yeah. D must be chemical because that must be the hardest, like oils and stuff like that. Because like you literally, like you said, you can't put water on it. Electrical, if whatever is short circuiting, if it burns up eventually, if you throw water on it, it could stop it because then there's no longer a path for the electricity to flow. But like chemical, like again, oil, you throw water on it, you've seen that actually where they say don't throw water on an oil fire because it will just get bigger.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
You've seen those videos? So, yeah, I think it is C. But what were you saying?
I was just, when we look at electrical fires, that's like another thing that can cause that is like animals going on. So if you're on a power line, you can sit on one power line. You're fine. Like everything's good. But as soon as you touch the other power line at the same time, that's when you get fried. And so that's why, like, birds, you'll see birds sitting on, like, an electrical wire, and it's like, oh, this is chill. But then when they try to fly away and, like, maybe their wing touches another one, they'll zap themselves. Same thing happened to a mountain lion. This was back in 1996. He was perched on top of a power pole, tried jumping off. His tail hit, like, two of them.
Oh, no.
And so that started a 20-acre fire down in California in 1996.
A lion.
Yeah. Wow. And then there was same thing happened with the squirrel. Squirrel got electrocuted.
No way.
This was by an electric fence. This is 1997 in California, and that started a 25-acre fire.
You know what I'm wondering so much about is this squirrel. How did they say, yup, it was a squirrel? It wasn't anything else. It was like 20 acres is huge.
This website is through Red Zone, and it seems like they've done some research on how these fires got started. It is weird because I'm looking at different fires. I was talking to a buddy of ours who is training to become a volunteer firefighter, just trying to see, like, how do you investigate a fire? Because like, everything's like burnt up. Like, how do you locate the cause and everything? A lot of it has to do with just like heat pattern, where it was, the hottest where it burned from.
Oh. But
yeah,
there are fire investigators. That's just like the story I've here. So this was crazy to me. I remember hearing about this in another podcast, and it's something called firefighter arson. Do you know anything about that?
Ooh. So
it's unbelievable.
Firefighters are like, they're bored and they want to start a fire? Is that what's going on?
So yes, that's one of the three reasons. The other two are because firefighters, obviously, I guess how it works in certain, governments, they only get paid if they're on call, or maybe if there's not many fires happening, then someone gets sent home. Another big reason is a lot of guys or women, they want to be the hero. Mm-hmm. They want to feel like they're like the guys who caught the fire, or I just saved all this property from being damaged.
That's
or all
some
these
serial killer stuff, right?
This is psychotic. This is it's actually an issue. It's like just like regular arson. Pyromania, a psychiatric disorder, actually. So sometimes they'll start it just for the thrill of it, is what Kevin Weddick, he's actually a fire investigator, just like we were talking about earlier. There's an actual job for this.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just feel excitement. They feel like, when they're with their buddies, the people they've become close with, going to a fire, and then they have the horns going, they're getting excited.
Yeah.
It's
nice
for the thrill
camaraderie. Yeah.
Exactly. And in addition to the adrenaline rush, they may also be motivated by financial gain. Like I said earlier, right? They'll get paid if fires go on for days and weeks.
Wow.
So that's kind of something that's been going on in the world, a lot in the United States.
I was texting with our buddy who is training to become a firefighter there, just to see what he never brought up that as far as like.
You should ask him.
Yeah, people like his fellow firefighters starting fires. He says chimney fires are huge.
Chimney fires.
That's like a real big thing. So if you have like a fireplace in your house, and let's say maybe you don't use it for the summer, and then you start in the winter, and like there's ash and stuff builds up in there, that can cause some real issues.
One that I didn't write down, which I know is a big deal, is your dryer vent.
Yep.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, that showed up on some of these.
Don't like clean it out, or don't get, usually
super flammable too.
It's just like lint.
Yeah.
Right. And if it gets clogged up, and then you have all that heat going, there could be some sort of something wrong with your dryer one day, and then boom, giant fire inside the vent, which leads to your house being burnt down.
Another thing he texted me was cigarettes.
Oh yeah.
We hear a lot about that cigarettes, like you throwing on cigarettes out the window causes fires.
Yeah.
They're perceived to start a lot more fires than they actually do. So I guess the conditions to like for a cigarette to actually start a fire is like pretty limited. They require just like your wind, your fuel, and the orientation of the cigarette butt's got to be facing the right direction. Also, the relative humidity must be 21%. I'm a real scientist now.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Cigars require relative humidity of 25%. Turbo.
Actually, I have a fact that says cigarettes are the most common reason why wildfires start for human ignition. And it says actually that there's 5 out of every 6 wildfires are caused by humans, and 1 out of 6 are caused by natural causes like lightning.
Yeah. Did you do any research on sky lanterns? Like those paper lanterns people light candles on?
Oh, no.
So
that's big in Asia, right?
Yeah, big in Asia, and it was big in the States.
Was it? Oh, I didn't know.
So they have, it's just like, essentially like it turns into a hot air balloon, really. It's a candle on a little platform with like a paper lantern above it. And when you light it, then it like carries it into the wind. Like it's
really neat.
It looks cool. And so then at like weddings and stuff, they'll light these and they'll be like, hundreds in the air.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these
Weddings
are super cool. Except then it's just a small flaming object that lands somewhere,
So it doesn't burn up in the sky, hey?
Not always.
I was hoping that it would.
In 2015, an 800-acre fire in South Carolina burned down.
Wow.
And this one was in 2015. Electrical tower caught fire after dozens of lanterns were released during Lantern Fest.
Oh my God, Lantern Fest!
And
of course they have a fest.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. And then on July 1st, 2013, a sky lantern landed in a recycling facility in England, starting a fire that was estimated to be 6 million pounds worth of damage. So now paper lanterns banned in 29 U.S. states as well as many countries around the world. But
not all the states.
Right.
Just 29 of them.
Yeah. There's some states that I guess they have less trees maybe or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's just scary to think of. Like, I've seen them in movies, of course, but I'm wondering if the design was supposed to burn up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You almost imagine it would. You wouldn't, because what you just said, you don't want to, make its way down and land somewhere and like fired by a tree.
Yeah.
Or
Look
house.
up our old episode. This is like a few months ago where we did one where it was how not to make weapons of mass destruction, and essentially Japan did this back in World War II, where they like made these like extremely flammable hot air balloons and released like 600 of them or whatever, and then they went across the ocean to
took the wind currents to the United States.
Yeah,
and I think 2 of them landed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So dig back in that episode. That we'll have a full story on that, but it's like a smaller version of that.
Yeah. What do you think the top 5, I guess you'd say, countries that have had the most wildfires in its lands?
You know what's crazy now is I'm seeing a lot of stuff in like Africa, because there's.
Talk about this year though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking last year, but go ahead.
Yeah, maybe it was from last year even too, because they're burning down the rainforest because they want more. They don't get money from, like, these farmers. They're poor. And they want to. The only way to make money is to have farmland. So like, hey, we'll just burn down the rainforest and turn it into farmland.
Wow.
Which, like, for them in this short term, it's like, okay, that's fine. But in the long term of the life and of the planet and everything, it's not a good idea.
I had no idea about that. Actually, I didn't even see it at all.
Africa on the list?
Africa's not on the list from what I've seen here. This is from Climate Reality Project.
So we're talking just countries in general?
Yeah, countries, and then I'll go into like areas.
I'm going to say United States then.
United States was number 1 on this list for acreage. I don't have numbers for like how many acres and all that, but
I'm going to say Canada, man. We burned up last year.
The funny part was there was actually more, like, the more I looked it up, there was a bunch of different lists with different numbers and countries all over the place. Canada, on one of the lists I did see, was on the top 5 because of our fires in BC, fire in Fort McMurray, which was back in 2016.
Yeah.
But on this list in particular, Canada's
Australia.
on it.
Australia was super dry.
Australia is number 5 on here.
Okay.
Which I know, like, over the last couple of years, we are like synonymous with like Australia.
Yeah.
Just all these fires.
We were down there in 2019 and in 2019. and we drove through fires. Like we were down there for a month just driving along the coast. And there was like fires burning. And just when we flew out, they had closed down a ton of the spots we were at. We stayed at this one little like campsite. We were just driving this little camper van around. And we stayed at this one little campsite right on the coast. And the whole town, you could see it from like our campsite was like on fire. Like it was insane. And everything was super dry. Everywhere we went was just, crispy.
And Australia is like known for being super dry, right?
Yeah.
Number 2 is Brazil.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen last year, but there was a bunch of fires in the Amazon.
Yeah.
The rainforest.
That's what I was thinking of. When I said Africa, I meant Amazon.
Is that what you meant?
Well, yeah.
2 different places.
Right.
But yeah, Brazil, I remember seeing that in the news a bunch last year.
Wait, the Amazon rainforest is in Brazil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always thought it was...
You thought it was in Africa?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what the...
They do have rainforests over there, too.
Yeah, I don't know much about
Yeah, I was thinking Amazon.
No, okay. Yeah, Amazon's in Brazil.
Mexico.
Mexico's on here. You saw lots of Mexico fires?
No, it's hot. It's warm.
Yeah. Indonesia is number 4.
Never would have guessed it.
Neither would have I. Apparently, there's been lots of fires and just closing down a whole bunch of like schools and cities because there's been like that many fires. Again, like, I don't know if it's because we live on the west side of the world and we don't hear too much of the east, because the next one I'm going to tell you is Siberia. So this is the craziest thing. This is another story of mine. There's something called zombie fires.
Oh, I've been looking up zombie fires.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What'd you look up? Like videos or stories?
Well, I got the zombie fires, like an article from National Geographic about zombie fires.
Oh, okay. I got this off the website, the climaterealityprojects.org. So, yeah, zombie fires. How crazy is that?
They're weird.
Do you want to start it?
So it's like a fire starts and like burns through the summer or whatever, and then they go and put it out, or it puts itself out. And then all of a sudden in the spring, another fire starts for no reason.
But it's because the fire is underground.
Yeah.
Burning underneath.
Through the winter.
Through the winter, yeah. And it's burning up the permafrost underground. And what is it exactly it's burning again? It's like it's called peat and soil layers.
Yeah, yeah.
What is peat?
Peat's like a moss.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. It could burn that, right? But how crazy is that? Like so down low. Not, it's not that far down low, but like there's not a lot of, like wind or oxygen up top or underneath, right? Like how does it? Because fire,
it must just like smolder then, Like
yeah.
You always like a little bit of this like.
Yeah, that's a good sound effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree though. Like I was confused because I understand like the general idea. Like okay, it's underground, but if it's burning permafrost, that's very cold. That that you don't think fire could even penetrate that, but it does eventually.
Yeah.
And it gets through the peat and soil layers. And most of the world's permafrost is located in the Arctic. So it's actually is Siberia and the Arctic.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
They, if you're looking up, you can look up National Geographic. They have kind of a full story about this too. They were saying that climate change has really been reshaping what's going on here. And fires burn 50% more acreage each year in the Arctic on average than any decade in the 90s.
Wow.
So it's
an ongoing battle.
The same thing like with BC. It seems like each year it's like more and more fires.
And every year California's starting a fire, and it always gets to us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy because you go to the Rockies and you can't see the sky. It's covered in smoke.
Yeah.
And we're all the way up here. Imagine what's like down there where you're living.
Oh, exactly. You're in the fire zone.
Yeah.
I got this one crazy story. So this guy, he was in Fresno, California. He was out barbecuing, late night snack. This was an evening last September. He saw flames coming out of the window of his neighbor's apartment. So he ran in the building, was filled with smoke, make sure he got his family out safely, and then he went back and finished barbecuing as like the place is burning down. It made him a local hero. They call him Robert Ribman Wright.
Because he was making ribs.
He was making ribs. He did like some like TV interviews and stuff too. A week later, he threw out the first pitch at one of the town's minor league baseball games, and he had a rack of ribs in his other hand.
That's how you know in the States you made it.
Yeah.
When they let you throw the first game.
When you throw the first pitch, and now he's famous for barbecuing as the fire's going.
I hope that his interviews included him in like a bib and had like just rib sauce.
Oh, probably.
Just like barbecue sauce. Like his hands are dirty. like just greasy. I really hope so. That's crazy. So he helped them out. Yeah. And the house burnt down though, I'm guessing, right? Like they couldn't stop it.
But still finished barbecuing.
But still, and then you gave them ribs after. So you fed them.
Yeah.
Not only did you save them, you fed them.
Wow.
That's a true American right
there.
That's right. So my story here is actually also in the United States. This one's a little sadder because it was actually a woman who was a little bit sad about her recent and estranged husband. And she had a love letter that I think she was seeing a psychiatrist or just like someone to talk to, right?
Okay.
They told her to write down, your emotions, your feelings, what's been going on, and then to burn the love letter. And her name was, where is her name?
So she's like burning up her feelings. You write down all your like feelings about someone and then you burn it up to like put it in the past.
Exactly.
Okay.
Kind of like those candles.
Right. Yeah. Let it go.
Just let it go. Exactly. Her name was Terry Barton, 2002. And so she was actually a U.S. Forest Service employee when this happened. What she did was, once she wrote the list, she burnt it, and I think she must have just thrown it on the ground.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was she burnt 137,000 acres.
Wow.
Yeah. And
she probably blames it all on her ex-husband too. Like, this paper was about you.
It's all his fault.
And you still burnt it.
Yeah, they call it the Hayman Fire. Wow. And it burned a bunch of property in Jefferson and Douglas counties in 2002. And one day alone, it ran 19 miles. And
whoa!
Actually, I dug deeper into the story because I thought, okay, this is kind of strange. Apparently, her children thought that she actually might have had some issues.
Yeah.
So she was actually charged with arson because some people thought, like her children, even that she actually intentionally did it.
Wow.
So she says it was an accident that she just threw the burning up. You don't want to hold on to something that's burning. So
I guess. Yeah.
Who to believe?
Wow. Crazy. Yeah. One of the myths, or it is kind of a myth or urban legend that like you just see like a spontaneous combustion of like grass pile.
Oh, right.
You heard about those before?
I know about spontaneous combustion.
Yeah.
Not about grass piles though.
According to redzone.co, grass or manure piles responsible for many fires every year. So what happens is they get the moisture inside of like a wet hay, like it rains or whatever, and the sun's out. Microorganisms produce heat while they're decomposing the biological material. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you I was a scientist? I brought that up right?
I think you have a couple degrees.
Okay. This creates chemical reactions that build heat, and then the hay gets good insulation. Very little heat's vented. Internal temperature of the hay rises like above 55 degrees Celsius. Then flammable gas is produced, and that can ignite. So a brush fire back in 2006 forced about 100 San Diego County residents to evacuate from a fire that started in a compost pile.
That's crazy.
Yeah, burned down 20 homes. Eventually required over 375 firefighters to battle the blaze, backed by 15 engines, 2 bulldozers, 5 helicopters, 1 air tanker, and 3 super soakers.
3 super soakers. Oh my god. So, and like this is again, how does the investigator go? Oh, it was this moss pile right here. Right here.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I guess this is well known that this can start fires, so that's how they can just pinpoint it at that.
Yeah. I guess.
I had a quick fact here about Australia because I know that Australia in my mind is super fresh with fires. It always seems like it's on fire. There was that hashtag last year. I think it was literally hashtag Australia's on fire. Do you remember that?
Hashtag.
Yeah. I guess you don't go on Twitter that much. I go on Twitter. But they say that out of the 54,000 bushfires that were started last year, 13 of those are deliberate. That means someone wanted, like they started it. There's a lot of apparently pyromaniacs in Australia. 37 of them % are suspicious. That means that out of the 54,000, almost 31,000 are basically either arson or suspicious of arson.
Yeah. I feel like everyone is a little bit of an arsonist.
Everybody loves fire. I mean, are we not all cavemen? Is that yours that you're getting to?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I like fire. I like
fire.
I go camping all the time, mostly just so I can sit around a fire.
Yeah.
I got fire in the backyard. I had fire in the backyard last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wanted to have a fire. You should invite me for a fire.
I didn't even burn anything down. Just,
I didn't mean to have a fire, actually. But, yeah, I mean, it is like in our instinct, no, like to have fire to cook meals, heat up our water,
heat up our soul.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people can agree that they feel good around a fire.
I fell on a fire once when I was a kid.
My sister fell on a fire. Yeah, both her hands.
Wow,
burnt. She had bubbles.
Whoa.
And to this day, it was me and her playing around the fire.
Yeah.
And I didn't push her. I didn't push her in.
All right. Now you're protesting too much, Dan.
I want to be careful because she might listen to this.
Right.
But I did not push you, Vanessa. But yeah, no, it was terrible time. Like it was we were camping and we were young. I was like 6 and she was like 5.
Yeah. She was walking by the fire and you guys were just...
I'm like 5 years older than her almost. So, but yeah, no, we were running around the fire and what happened was this is the next morning after the fire.
Yeah.
And the fire we put it out, but we didn't water it.
Oh.
You know how like you water and then you water again and then you water in the morning?
Good tips.
Yeah, actually, this actually just came rushing. Does this happen to you in the podcast where like a memory just comes rushing back to you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, so it was the morning after. We put the fire out the night before, but crazy enough, like the fire was still hot enough that when she fell on the pit with both her hands palms down first, she burnt herself. I don't know what degree it is, but there was bubbles.
Yeah.
So it was a long process for her to go through to like, we took her to the doctor. The doctor said, okay, you gotta give it a couple days. And then after that, they actually had like drained the bubbles of the fluid. Yeah, it was traumatizing.
Have you ever had to put out a fire that like was a little bit out of control? Where you're like getting excited, like, oh no.
I get excited all the time that I'm like, okay, this is too big. So I always make sure to stay below it. No, I never had a fire that I was worried about. What about you?
Nothing crazy. There's been a few times where it like seemed like maybe the fire was getting a little extreme. We went to like this, I think it was a honeymoon party, or like it was our friends got married and then we all went camping. There was like a bunch of people there. And there's giant fire pits at this campsite. And, you know, at the end of the night, everyone's drinking. And there's like free firewood and wheelbarrows. So guys would just run up with a wheelbarrow full of firewood and like push it into the fire.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was, it got to the point where like, this fire is too big. Like this, we don't need the fire that's big. So, like, and then, of course, then people jump in the fire. Right?
What?
Yeah. You like run real fast and then try to jump over the fire.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't that big that you couldn't jump over it?
Well, you probably shouldn't have jumped over it for sure, but people were jumping over it.
I remember being by a fire that was like maybe like I don't know, like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And have you been near a fire that's about 6 feet ish?
Yeah.
Probably was that fire bigger than that?
Yeah, at its height, it was up there.
And I remember like being so far away and feeling the heat.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, if this is how hot I am, like this far away,
yeah.
If I was to get like normally close, I'd probably like burn. Like it felt like that's happened once, but it was like barrel, like not a barrel, but like a big pit.
Yeah.
Yours sounds like it was a little scarier than that. But
it was in a weird pit. Like it was.
Was it a little bit taller pit?
No, it was low enough you could push a wheelbarrow in. To the side and then like
low enough. Yeah, mine was a little bit higher and like it was wide. But like that'd scare me. I'd get scared. I'd be like, guys, are you sure we should be doing this? Yeah. I'm like,
hey guys,
I'm like that.
Maybe we just call her a night tonight then. Hey,
let's just go to bed. I'm like the little angel on the shoulder, like, guys, we should be careful.
Yeah,
the fire's gonna get out. But yeah,
it's good to have guys like you around the campfire, Dan, just to like have a little bit of like common sense sometimes, I think.
Well, then I'm no fun, right?
Right. Well, no, but fires, I mean, each year they're getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
So
global warming.
When we're looking back on this episode,
yeah,
what do we learn? Okay, when you're putting out a fire,
you want to give some tips?
Use water.
Yeah. You water it. Then you mix it around. Give it a couple minutes.
And
then water again.
Good. When you think it's good, then you push your sister's hands into it just to see if it's good. Like if it.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna hate that.
Just to see if it's good. If her hands bubble, you're like, okay, maybe we should put a little more water on it. So that's one thing for sure. Don't throw cigarettes. I know I said maybe according to Dan's research here, that cigarettes do cause 1 out of 6 fires or whatever. Don't throw cigarettes out the window. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, just don't. Like, that's just bad. Like, you're littering.
Yeah. So don't do that. Come on, be cool about that.
This is the one Earth we have. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's take care of it.
That's the other thing too, man, is like if you leave a fire, I think 100,000 might even be the minimum fine. Like you can get up to like $500,000 fine.
If you leave the fire, what do you mean?
Yeah, like if you leave your campfire and don't like put it out and then it sparks, like it turns into a
like if it becomes like a big fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the story I told you with the 100,000, but
same in BC.
Oh, really? This happened, something like that?
Yeah.
We're going back into it.
Well, I'm just gonna while we wind it down here, I'm just gonna
Google. Okay, I have a quick thing I want to say then.
Okay.
There is 2 things that I was surprised would start fires that I feel like most people wouldn't know. Actually, it's 3 things if you want to count a part of the one thing. The first one is a lawnmower. So lawnmowers get so hot that in really dry states or provinces, they actually have been known to starting small fires that need to be put out because they could become large fires. One thing too is a catalytic converter.
I saw something about that. Yeah, we talked about catalytic converters on the last episode. Even
we did.
Yeah, the mechanic thing.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. I like that one. I like that episode. Catalytic converters, they get so hot that if you're like, let's say you're an SUV or a truck driving somewhere in the bush and you're in a dry spot, you like idle your vehicle, then you could start a bush fire. Like cars have been known to start being basically catch on fire because they start the fire beneath them on the bush.
Yeah.
And then the car starts on fire, and the next you know you have a giant acreage fire just spreading like crazy.
Same with ATVs.
Oh yeah, anything that's a vehicle that if you idle when it's a really hot day and it's a dry day, it could just catch on fire. The last thing is ammunition. I know we talked about it earlier, my story about the smoke bomb with the tannerite.
Yeah.
There's actually a story about how there were some guys practicing just target practicing.
Okay.
And they had no sort of like explosives on them other than I guess a bullet. If that is considered a tiny explosive, right?
Oh yeah, it's got gunpowder in it.
Exactly. So they were just doing target practice, shooting like a steel plate, and what ended up happening was the bullet ricocheting off the steel plate was just so hot because of course the explosive, right?
Okay.
Landing in like some dry grass, literally started a fire.
Huh. Crazy.
Right?
Okay, well, I got one more story then too about this one is you tied in like 2 of these aspects of the story, so I figured I would tell it. Perfect. So, Liberty, Montana, this was last October, this guy was burning some garbage in his field, and he's like, oh, fire's getting out of hand. Like, oh boy, this is like, what am I going to do?
At what point do you think a fire's out of hand when it's higher than 6 feet?
So he's like looking around. He's like, what should I do? How do I get rid of this fire? He's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive over the fire and the flames with my van. And so that's what that was his plan. He had forgot like one crucial detail too about the van was he had a bunch of firearm ammunition stored inside his vehicle. Oh my God. So there's like some smoke, like the van caught on fire, smoke billowing out of the van. There was a sheriff's deputy doing a routine traffic stop nearby. Perfect. And so when he arrived on the scene and there's like gunfire going off all over the place.
Oh no.
Yeah. Luckily no one was harmed. Van's driver was watching like the van burn up from a safe distance.
But okay, so the fire didn't get out of hand?
No, it sounds like they were able to control that, but definitely like if there's a fire, I don't know about driving over it's like the best way to.
That's awesome. The van caught on fire. But do you think it was because of the ammunition, or you think just because driving over it?
Yeah, he just driving over it, and then like I think you get some flames on your your tires or something probably.
That's what I was wondering. Like, what would catch on fire? Everything's metal. Yeah, you have gasoline in there, but it's covered in
maybe
metal.
Like a little bit of an oil leak. I'm thinking tires probably.
Oil. Yeah.
Shooting up on.
Does rubber burn really good?
Yeah, big time.
I actually never burned rubber before.
Yeah, they. That's how they like used to. We're getting into like some crazy stuff, but that's how they used to like torture people, is they'd put like a flaming tire on them, like put your arms in a tire and then light the tire on fire.
Why do you always know about? You know so much about torturing.
No, I don't.
You're like, that's how they always did it back in my day.
I've been reading all these like ancient books about kind of medieval stuff, and that was like, back in the 200 BCE when they were driving their cars around with their Goodyear tires.
That's what Michelin Man.
Yeah.
Burning people up.
Yeah. That's how they did it.
They should have put fireworks in the van. That would have been better.
There you go. Yes. You didn't even talk about fireworks, but I'm sure they've.
I didn't find a single story about that.
Yeah, I just.
There's again, this one has so many stories that you could have found anything. Anybody could start a fire doing anything.
That's true. So just to wrap this up, in British Columbia, the last 2 summers seem to average more than 1.2 million hectares burned, involved firefighting costing between $600 and $650 million. Human-caused wildfires, generally between 30 to 40% of the total number of BCs. You could be on the hook for the cost of the government's wildland firefighting operations and the value of the lost timber, and also be subject to large fines and possibly jail time.
Perfect.
The government can pursue administrative penalties up to $10,000, fines up to $1 million, and possibly even imprisonment for those who start fires.
You're just in jail for the rest of your life.
I wouldn't mind someone going to jail for starting a fire. If you can prove that they did it on purpose, or throwing a cigarette out the window, I don't know about jail time for that. Leaving your campfire, a little bit, I don't know about jail time for that. Fines for sure. But someone lighting a forest fire, starting a forest fire.
Arson.
Arson on purpose, I'd say jail time.
You go to jail longer in Canada for starting a fire than you do for murdering.
Wow.
I bet.
Oh.
This is not confirmed.
Thought that was okay.
I should have known. That would have been a good fact.
That would have been.
But yeah, no, that's all my stories. One quick last thing.
Yeah.
There's a cute little nickname if you're an arsenic. Arsenic? Is that how you say?
No. Arsonist.
Arsonist.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a firebug.
Firebug. That's
Sometimes.
right. Yeah.
Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, wrap it up, George.
That is another episode of the BFF, Blueprint for Failure podcast. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the little bell thing if you're listening, especially on Spotify. You can hit the bell. It'll give you a notification when a new episode comes out. Oh. And that goes up in the charts. And then if you just give us a 5-star review or we'd be happy with a 4-star review.
Even a 3.
What?
No, I mean 4.
Any kind of review would be helpful. We just appreciate you guys listening. That's great. We're excited to learn on each episode. Who knows what the next episode will be, but I'm sure it'll be a dandy. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys were listening to George's game here, put something in the comment in the Facebook group or on YouTube, and just tell us what you thought the true story was out of those 2 games that George had.
Yeah.
So that way we know, which one was true and
right. Okay.
To play along.
That's it. We will talk to you guys on the next one.
Thanks for listening. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Blueprint for Failure podcast. Find everything you need at blueprintforfailure.ca.